Welcome back to Voices of Resilience, celebrating Black history and empowering the future. I'm Jasmine, and I'm honored to have you with us today as we continue our journey through Black history. This episode, we're addressing a pivotal and profound topic, the Transatlantic Slave Trade and its impact on African diasporic identity.
And I'm Marcus. The Transatlantic Slave Trade is one of the darkest chapters in human history. A brutal system that forcibly uprooted millions of Africans and scattered them across the globe. Yet even in the midst of such cruelty, the resilience of the human spirit shone through, giving rise to rich, multifaceted identities that persist today.
That's right, Marcus. Spanning from the 16th to the 19th century, the transatlantic slave trade tore apart families, cultures, and communities. Enslaved Africans were taken from their homelands, their stories silenced, and their identities reshaped in foreign lands. But even as they endured unimaginable hardships, they carried with them the essence of their heritage, a legacy that continues to influence the African diaspora in profound ways.
Exactly. The forced migration meant that African traditions, languages, and cultural practices had to survive in an environment designed to strip them away. In many ways, these acts of cultural preservation became acts of resistance. Music, religion, storytelling, and art all served as vital threads, linking the enslaved to their ancestral roots, even as they adapted to new, often hostile surroundings.
Take, for example, the powerful role of music and oral traditions, the syncopated rhythms and call-and-response patterns that emerged in spirituals and later in genres like jazz, blues, and gospel are not accidental. They are echoes of African musical heritage, a testimony to the will of a people who refused to let their identity be erased. These cultural expressions helped forge a unique diasporic identity, one that celebrates survival, creativity, and resistance.
And it's not just music. The impact of the transatlantic slave trade can be seen in the very fabric of community life in the Americas, the Caribbean, and beyond. In language, cuisine, religious practices, and even in everyday social customs, the African diaspora has interwoven elements of traditional African cultures with new influences. This blending created vibrant, dynamic cultures that continue to evolve today.
This cultural fusion is at the heart of African diasporic identity. While the trauma of enslavement is undeniable, the legacy of that period is also one of remarkable resilience. It reminds us that even under the weight of systemic oppression, a community can reclaim its narrative and transform its suffering into strength and empowerment.
Absolutely, Jasmine. The story of the transatlantic slave trade is a reminder that history is not just about loss, but also about the enduring power of human spirit. African diasporic identity today is a living, breathing testament to the resilience of those who came before us. It's about honoring their memory by celebrating the ways in which their cultural heritage continues to shape art, literature, music, and community across the globe.
And as we celebrate Black History Month, it's important to remember that acknowledging this painful past is also a step toward healing. By understanding how the transatlantic slave trade impacted identities and led to the creation of vibrant diasporic cultures, we empower ourselves to challenge narratives that have long been shaped by oppression.
We hope that today's discussion inspires you to delve deeper into this history, to read, to ask questions, and to share the stories of resilience and transformation. Knowledge of our past is a key to unlocking a future where every facet of Black history is celebrated and every voice is heard.
Thank you for joining us on this important conversation. We encourage you to reflect on the powerful legacy of the African diaspora, a legacy born out of pain, but blossoming into strength, creativity, and unity.
That's all for today's episode of Voices of Resilience. Stay tuned for more conversations that celebrate Black history and empower the future. Until next time, keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep celebrating your heritage.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for listening.